If Warsaw asks, we won't stand in the way. That is the message coming from Germany's foreign minister on Poland's desire to send tanks to Ukraine. This question has been a source of tension among NATO allies recently. Poland needs Germany to authorize the transfer of the Leopard 2 tanks, like the ones you see on the screen right now, because they are German-made. So, do the foreign minister's comments move the needle? Witold Dzielski is Poland's ambassador to Canada. He's in Ottawa. Ambassador, thank you very much for speaking with us. Germany's foreign minister said Berlin will not stand in the way of Poland sending Leopard 2 tanks into Ukraine if it were asked. Will Warsaw make that ask?
Well, we'll see about this. We are going through the process of negotiations right now. Polish president announced the related topic on Leopard 2s some time ago. It was confirmed by the Polish Prime Minister as well as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense last Friday, during the contact group in Ramstein. Poland is hoping very much for building a coalition in that regard, and my understanding is that my colleagues in Warsaw are working with a number of partners exactly on that, on building a coalition of sending a modern generation military equipment to Ukraine, and the Leopard 2s are the main topic right now from our perspective.
I'm going to ask you about that coalition in just a moment, but I want to know, is Warsaw going to wait for explicit permission from Berlin before any tanks are transferred into Ukraine?
I'm quite certain that this conversation is taking place right now. I don't want to get into details because I don't want to build an atmosphere of disinformation at this point. But we are. It is very important that we operate in a united manner, and but at the same time that difficult decisions that will allow Ukrainians to win the war will be taken. So Poland, as it was a number of times before, since the beginning of the war, we are pushing for developments that would allow the Ukrainians to win the war against Russia that is conducting all the atrocities right now on Ukrainian territory.
You talk about a coalition getting like-minded allies together to get tanks into Ukraine. Who's in that coalition, and does it include Canada? Mm-hmm.
There are, when you look at countries that have the Leopard 2s at this point, this is a group of about 20 countries, out of which a certain group would be able to deliver the equipment if the decision is taken. My understanding is that such countries as Denmark and Finland mentioned that publicly. So my understanding is that those conversations could be are on its way. Canada, as you know much better than I do, is in possession of over 80 Leopard 2 tanks of different categories, obviously. But this is an interesting element of the conversation as well, and we would hope for continuous Canadian support also in that regard.
Specifically on this, even though a decision might not have been made yet, would you welcome Canada to send tanks to Ukraine and follow your lead if that is in fact what happens?
Mm-hmm. We would welcome any kind of... let me stress that Canada from day one is very supportive when it comes to the eastern flank of NATO, when it comes to providing support to Ukraine in all the possible aspects, whether political, humanitarian, military, and so on. And we hear about the decisions on the side of the Canadian government. It does not mean that we do not ask for more. It does not mean that Ukrainians do not ask for more. And indeed they should, because we are at the months to come will probably be a turning point of the war. So indeed, equipment is constantly needed, military equipment, and the equipment of new generation equipment should be used at this point.
So if Canada, if it is deemed useful, you would welcome Canada to contribute tanks if that were a decision taken by Germany?
Absolutely.
Okay. What do you think the hesitation is about when it comes to Germany? Why is there a hesitation to this push by Ukraine and other countries, including your own?
Mm-hmm. I would not get into details here because, as I mentioned before, the most important element of the puzzle is the unity, and we do have the unity on so many issues within the NATO framework, within the EU framework. So I won't get into conversations that are happening right now among the allies. I think in a general way speaking, it's a certain historic context that Germany operates within, as well as a certain social and business context that needs to be taken into account on the side of the Germany. But we've seen throughout the months a huge change in the debate internally in Germany. A very positive change when it comes to helping Ukraine. Today, unlike it was at the beginning of the war, Germany is one of the most important actors in the area of providing support, and that's the way it's. I mean, we very much appreciate it because Germany is the number one, not only economic but in many other ways, power in Europe at this point. So they should stand on the right side of the history, and they do to a great extent. But we need to work together to push even further.
Is Warsaw prepared just in case Russia retaliates to any sort of donation of tanks, if that happens? Is Warsaw prepared for any form of possible Russian retaliation?
You're asking whether Warsaw, Poland, meaning NATO, is ready for the retaliation, because we are all in sort of in the same shoes. Mm-hmm. And my answer, without knowing the details, would be that obviously it is the case. So NATO is a professional, strongest security organization there is, and naturally. I'm quite certain Russians know that there are, to their actions there will be consequences.
So do you think that NATO protection blanket will give NATO countries, it will be okay for NATO countries to send in tanks because of that NATO alliance? You think that that'll be okay?
Considering the situation right now, the fact that Russian military is not able to win a war against a smaller country, which is Ukraine, I don't think that Russia is able to successfully fight a war against NATO, at least not in the conventional manner.
All right, Ambassador, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.